Okay, everyone. Hello, this is Roche Vampire. We're back with another episode of 7 Days to Die. This is episode 2 of Season 0. And again, I spent the night up here, but it was pretty uneventful. That's why I stopped recording during the nights, and I'm going to avoid that in the future. You can see that I put down my sleeping bag here. Also, I was completely wrong about the time of the day cycle. Turns out the day cycle is actually going to be set to 40 minutes. That's the daylight hours. So, well, I was thinking that 14 minutes of that would actually be nighttime, and the rest would be the day cycle. I was completely wrong. So, last night, we put up these wooden frames and hid in the attic of this house. I spent the whole night just kind of wandering around it after I got the meat out of my inventory and into the sleeping bag. The duffel bag upstairs. So, from now on, because again, I got the times wrong with the daylight cycle, I'm going to be going ahead and recording from the morning until about 1:30 in the afternoon in game time. That'll be 13:30. And so I'll go ahead and stop the episodes there and pick up again immediately afterwards. And then when the night hits, I'll stop the second video. So the day cycles are going to be broken up into two videos apiece, just for time reasons. That'll leave it about 20 minutes, give or take. We may start early sometimes or end late on a second episode. The truth is, I don't really know how this is going to go. We may have entire nights that become episodes because of hordes and who knows what else. I'm just kind of wandering around and picking up whatever I can from the night. You can see the zombies are kind of spawning in on me from this pre-spawn zone. Of course, I have the smelly bits back on me, so everything's going to be a little bit crazy. Everything's still going to want to kill me. The truth is that I would prefer not to build here. I'm going to go raid that place over there and finish raiding this place here before I move on. But part of the reason we're going to end up having to settle down either way is because of this. We're kind of running out of inventory room, and, well, that's mostly fine. I mean, we want all this stuff. We, just plain don't have space for it. We're going to need to settle down somewhere to make storage. So, here's the thing about that. Everybody tells themselves, okay, we'll settle down here for a little while, and then we'll move on. And the truth is, they don't. They never do. None of us ever do. Eventually, you'll hit a point where you want to move to a more dangerous area. The truth is, once you settle down, you're going to be very complacent and not want to move from that place again. So when I finally do settle down, I want it to be in a place where I know that I'll be happy for at least a long time, and when we finally do leave, it'll be good for a good reason. So I want to be able to expand, I want to be able to build a farm, I want to be able to, in general, just not have to deal with a bunch of BS as far as zombies spawning right on top of me, which means I want to avoid a lot of these creep-outs in general. So yeah, we're just not going to stay here. It's a nice place. I did stick my sleeping bag downstairs, so if I end up needing to, I can respawn here, but the truth is I don't want to hang out. After we're done raiding these, seeing if there's anything taking really, we're gonna get out of Dodge. You can see the time is already kind of moving ahead on us. It feels like it just barely started the episode, but it's almost over. Maybe that's just my perception, I don't know. If you guys generally prefer the longer episodes, just say so down in the comments. Maybe we'll just stick it to 40. The problem with that, of course, is just the render times in general. Longer render times means it's going to be harder for me to get them up, while the shorter render times are going to keep it, hopefully, to a point where I can just keep slapping these on whenever I have the opportunity to record something. Again, I'm still in school, and I have a lot of responsibilities, and this is just one more. Not that I don't want to do it or anything, just sometimes it's going to fall to the low priority list. Again, these are my first videos. I'm not making money on them. I'm not. So these are just for fun for me, at least for now. Maybe that'll change in the future, but probably not. I mean, I hope you guys enjoy them, and that's enough to keep me posting them. But so don't be surprised if it sometimes takes a little while for another video to come out. I'm going to try my best to keep a decent rate of videos coming, but it may not work out, and that's just the way that's going to happen. I apologize in advance if that is what happens, but like I said, we're not going to count on it. I'm going to intend to put these up in a decent way and a decent rate of time. In my opinion, looting is one of the least exciting parts of these types of things. Okay, so here's the decision I'm going to go after. First of all, I need to eat because I'm losing wellness. I didn't even realize that was that low. I'll just put you down here. So I threw away my plant fibers. These yucca plants, they are going to be a great source of plant fibers. You can see I have one here. I stick it up in the middle. It's going to make four plant fibers for me. Because this house has a few of them around it, it's going to be a space saver just to go ahead and pick those up now and not have to worry about it later. I did go ahead and pick them up. If I find something better, I'll just grab those instead and dump them again. But for now, since I have the space, take what you can. So there's a few of them around here. Another thing I need to make sure I'm doing is aloe. Should be turning those into the aloe cream. Now, you don't get jars back for this, so that's one of the reasons I don't like doing it necessarily. But those are pretty vital. I need my healing items, guys. I'm not saying that I'm prone to get killed, but without healing items, it's kind of a given that that's what's going to happen. Sometimes you're going to get into a tight spot. As you've already seen, I get a little too brave for my own good sometimes. The truth is, you gotta have those healing items. You never know when some random dog's gonna come running up on you, or you're gonna run into a horde with nowhere to go. Or, Lord forbid, I mean, maybe you're just gonna be out mining or something and make a mistake and the whole thing's gonna collapse on you. So, healing items, you always need them. It'll keep at least something in your hotbar for quick things. Deer? Hey, deer? I mean, I know I said I'm not going to stay here, but this doesn't mean you can have my house. That deer really wants to live in the house. That deer wants to be a people. I don't even know where he went. It's kind of ironic that you would land in my kitchen because I'm going to eat you. So this is what I'm talking about. Again, I'm not really going to stay here. But since my spawn point's here, and I'm going to be hanging around for a minute, I certainly don't want Goreblock sitting there raising the heat map up. Desk. Oh, look at that. Got a gun now. And a red bandana. Don't we already have a bandana? I think it's red. Okay, yeah. We're not going to worry about that. Ooh, wall safe. Okay, so the wall saves takes a little while to get into. But just like the gun saves, you know, they don't have the best stuff in the game. But let's be honest. Are we really going to turn down free stuff? Especially when it's typically high-end free stuff. Ah, so now we got that leather recipe. Once you learn a book, you really don't need it hanging around. around, so I suggest you toss it unless you're on a multiplayer game or something. You usually end up trading some of those, or just giving them to your friends who you need to back you up. You never want to see that they are panicking because they didn't pick up a forge book, and you're just like, oh, I'm across the map right now, I can't help you out. It's trouble. Nothing but trouble. So every time you see a book, just go ahead, make sure you know the stuff, then get rid of it. There's no reason to have some of that hanging around. See, now this is a dilemma for me. Blueberries are kind of worthless overall, but at the same time, I kind of want it in my garden. I'm kind of a OCD about that. So I'm going to go ahead and exchange my plant fibers for now. And, blueberry seeds, like I said, they're overall pretty useless. So if I find something better, I find something better. But I can't bring myself to leave it behind. So we're going to move on. Grabbing some goldenrod along the way, because I like that goldenrod tea. Now, another mistake I made last night is I didn't have any of these small stones. I think I turned them all into we turned them all into crossbow bolts. So we ended up just not having those around. So I wasn't able to do any forging or cooking last night. I do have some cooking pots, so that was pretty unfortunate. I could have had goldenrod tea by now. And, I could set it up right now and try to wait it out. But honestly, when I get through all this and get out of here, a lot of times, at least in my single-player worlds that I don't put up here, I'm going to go ahead and just build a building to live in. It just lets me choose the layout. It lets me choose how big I want it. It's going to give me... I just feel it's better overall. This is a very strange design. But yeah, these apparently are great for iron. You can apparently break these down, pick them up, and turn them into scrap, and they're just going to give you the scrap iron. So, as you can see, I think they take just a little too long to be trying to break down and turn into scrap iron. Especially since, I don't know, how much do I even get from that? We'll touch the wood frames for a second and pick it up. So you're only going to get 4 scrap iron from that. I feel like I can get that from the world in general without having to panic about time. So, if you're desperate, I say go for it. But the truth is, especially early on when you're worried about time and you're worried about your equipment, assuming you even really have equipment, like I have a stone axe, I don't consider that equipment. That's a desperate measure, is really what that comes down to. But yeah, there's plenty of other stuff in the world that's far better for scrapping. The I-beams in the industrial zone, you see little piles of 2 I-beams, one laying on the ground and one laying just over it. You can break those up, and I forget how much you get from it, but I want to say it's at least 4. Those things are literally all over the place, so you don't have to go anywhere special to pick them up. You don't have to go out of your way to grab them. Like, in my opinion, they're just plain better. But, I'm an untrained civilian. What do I know? So, this is another thing I want to talk about since we have a moment. You're going to have 3 sections for each piece of clothing item. You can see here the head, you've got the top of the head, the middle of the head, and the bottom of the head. And over here on the torso, you've got your armor, you've got your middle layer, I guess would be called. It's like your jackets and stuff like that. You've got your bottom layer of clothes, if you will. It's going to be like your shirts and whatnot. Clearly I have no shirt, but at least we got pants. Come on. So you also, on your legs, you're going to have your armor, you're going to have your top layer, and then you're going to have your bottom layer, which is like boots. They haven't really implemented the backpacks yet, so you can't really get anything special, at least that I'm aware of. and then you've got your gloves. So you can wear quite a bit. A lot of them are aesthetic choices, but the armor, of course, is one of the bigger things. You want to make sure you've got the best going on for that. Now, I'm reluctant to get rid of anything here because the couches, while good, are they're kind of worthless. If we're being honest, they're really just used for cooking a lot of the time. They make pretty good fuel. I'm gonna dump the leather ones and go for the old couch because you're gonna find a lot more in the old couches than the leather ones. Uh, I think you get like just over 2.5 minutes of cooking time out of them, which when you're forging is amazing. When you're cooking water, it takes an eternity, so the more time you can get out of that, the better. Uh, Here we are again. We're stuck for space. Um, I have my mold. I'm not going to worry about the mold right now. Really, I can go ahead and just turn these into bandages. Stack those up. Pick that up again. Got cat food. We are actually pretty low on hunger, so let's go ahead and eat the cat food. Not my proudest moment. I always hate doing things like eating cat food and hiding in attics. It's demeaning. That's what it comes down to. I'm gonna go ahead and make a recommendation right now. When you have the blueberry pie. When you have the chance, you go ahead and keep at least 2 cooking pots. And when you get the opportunity, you're gonna also go ahead and keep 2 grills. It's gonna add up to a total of 4 campfires, but it's gonna give you an opportunity to get some of the stuff faster. Maybe, for example, you're gonna cook water, and it's gonna take 20 minutes. You split them between 2 campfires. Now it only takes 10. Simple math. You finally have a shirt here to put on. You don't look like a freak anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and get blue bandana. Blue is my favorite color, so I'm gonna trade it out with the red. It doesn't make me look as hostile either. Like, I know it doesn't matter in the end right now, because there are no third parties to run around and be like, oh, he's dangerous. But I feel like blue is somewhat of a benign color. You're just gonna be like, oh, hey, that guy's wearing blue. That's not an aggressive color. Oh, seems like an alright guy. Let's leave him alone. I'm probably lying. I don't know. Again, I'm an untrained civilian. What do I know? I just feel like if somebody came up on me wearing a red bandana, I'd feel like, oh, he's gonna take all my stuff and kill me. Alright, so we looted these out pretty well. Or at least for what we can get. Did we ever hit this car? I feel like we did. But we didn't. Look at that. Car filter. It's good for breaking down. Again, there are a few servers where you can make things like the auger. I know there's a few kill servers, for example, that use an exit fire, where you can take the car battery and the car filter and a bunch of forged iron and things like that to create an auger. I think that chainsaw as well runs basically on that kind of a recipe, but we don't have that XML file here, so it's just scrap. It's worthless. Maybe with the new updates, they'll make a recipe that needs them. Well, just when you think you're gone, the piggy pulls you back. Did I hit him? Look, I don't really care who kills him, but somebody's got to kill him. There we go. Now we heard that little sound. Also, while we're talking about sound, I turned the volume on the game down just a little bit and my microphone volume up. When I was listening to the last episode I recorded, I felt like the sound was a little high. Like sometimes it was blocking out my voice. So I went ahead and altered those a bit. Again, if you don't like the way it went, go ahead and just let me know in the comments. We're getting close to the end of this episode, so as we run on down the road here, I'm going to go ahead and leave you with, I guess, me killing a nurse. I also need to figure out my interval for when I'm going to post these up. I could post them up all right away. I don't really care one way or the other myself. It's all a matter of, do you actually want to see them, or do you want to have like times where I'm uploading? Again, it doesn't really matter to me. As far as I'm concerned, I can throw them all up immediately, and you guys can be happy and have your episodes. That's assuming there's even many of you to even watch these episodes. Again, Season 0, I named it that because it's just me getting into it. Season 11, Alpha 11, should be dropping anytime now, and of course this is going to be gone when that happens. I'm going to start playing on 11, I'm not going to go back to 10.4 just to keep making this particular series, which there could be all kinds of craziness going on with that too, guys. There's a lot of speculation right now, but my understanding... okay, well, we'll discuss Alpha 11 in the next one. This is the end of this episode here, guys, so this is the end of episode 2. Join me for episode 3 in the future. I will talk to you soon. Have a good day, guys.